ragamuffin keeps traveling every way. Why? International, what they call me international. When me ride palm rhythm in the move, but the rhythm when I come down crucial. And me ride palm rhythm and then we sit down steady. Body me on the place, I with the one Jamalski.
Yes. What is up, everybody? Joshua Casper back at you with another live stream here with Plugin Boutique. And we got another extra special one coming up. But before we invite our guest on, let me know that you can hear me. And let me know where you're tuning in from. I see people are already saying it. Slough, I believe that's how you say that. That's nice. Quincy, Massachusetts, Pittsburgh, London, Germany. Sounds good. Good. Awesome. Lots of familiar faces, lots of new ones. Welcome. As I said, I'm Joshua Casper. We do these live streams. We bring you the newest plugins explained by the people who make them. And today's guest is a record setter. I believe it's the 5th time on the stream. It will be Bill Podolak from iZotope, walking us through not one, but 2 of their newest plugins. I think we should just bring them on and jump into it. So let's do that. Bill, how are you, my friend?
Hey, Joshua. Doing great. Thanks for having me again. Record-breaking 5th time.
Is it number 5?
I think that's right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Must have been, 3 years ago or something we did our first stream, and here we are, number 5. It's absolutely wonderful to have you back. You're a trooper coming through with a little bit of a cold, but we got to let the people know about these plugins, right?
Totally. Yeah, we got some cool ones today, I think.
Well, before we jump in, as usual, can you just let people who might not know you yet a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what we're going to be checking out on stream, if you don't mind?
Yeah, totally. So my name's Bill. I'm a product manager with Native Instruments and iZotope, and I've had the privilege to work on some of our products like Ozone, the last 2 releases, 10 and 11. Got to help out with RX11 this year, and then are 3 new products in the Catalyst series. We had looked at Plasma on a live stream before. That's an adaptive spectral tube saturator. And now we've got 2 more, Aurora, which is an adaptive intelligent reverb, and Cascadia, which is a delay. And they're both designed to help you keep your mixes really clean and clear. What they generally do is, they've got reverb or delay, and then this adaptive spectral psychoacoustic unmasking that makes it so that the reverb or the delay kind of mixes itself. And it makes sure that the reverb or delay doesn't mask the dry signal. And by masking, that means like in your brain, you lose the ability to sort of distinguish the direct signal from the ambient signal. And in effect, it just makes your mixes kind of cloudy and undefined. And so with Aurora and Cascadia, we want to make it really easy for people to keep that dimension and spaciousness in their mixes while also keeping the mix really clear and defined.
Love that. Simple, but comprehensive at the same time. That's my type of intro. So I think we just jump right in, Bill, and let people hear these things in action, and you can obviously walk us through everything they have to offer.
Perfect. Let's do it. Sounds good.
All right. Flipping over now. And go ahead.
So the song we're working with on this demo is called Slow by Christy Huff. And let's go ahead and start with the guitar. Oops. Yeah. So as you could see and hear, as I went ahead and brought this big knob up, we're adding in the reverb. We've got a Hall algorithm selected right now, but you've got a handful of different reverb algorithm types. We'll get into those. And we tried to make this a really streamlined control set so you can quickly and easily get to the reverb sound that you're imagining. And so we heard the reverb, and on the right-hand side here, we have the unmasking controls. So as I bring down this slider, we'll see and hear the unmasking start to kick in and keep that guitar's body sort of clear in the mix without it getting overly muddy. So with this little power button here, I can turn the unmask off and on so we can hear the difference that it's making. Listen how when I turn it off, if you're in headphones or good speakers, the reverb starts to feel crowded and like kind of oppressive. And then when it's on, it just sounds like a guitar with a really nice natural ambience to it. So starting with it off. Now on. So that's the general idea with this reverb.
Bill, I got a question.
It makes it... Yeah, please.
Apologies if you've already said. So obviously, it's much more detailed than, say, if I just threw a compressor on my reverb signal and ducked the entire thing, right? It's reacting to the different frequencies depending on, I guess, the amplitude of the values at the different frequencies. Is it...
That's totally right.
Yeah. A couple of questions. One, how many bands, or what's the resolution of the spectrum, and is it compressing the signal, or is it using volume automation to duck the signal? I mean, is it using an EQ filter? How exactly is it getting what it's getting out of the way.
Totally. So it's a spectral process. So spectral processing breaks the frequencies up into bins. I'm pretty sure that this is 64 bins. And so then in each bin, it's looking at the reverb signal and the dry signal and comparing them. And when sort of the reverb signal in that bin starts to approach the level of the dry signal, it will determine, okay, it needs to be ducked. But then there's like an added layer of sophistication on top of that, where we have this like psychoacoustic model to understand, okay, what frequencies are actually more prone to masking in your brain compared to others. So then, like, for example, I think the like mid-range is sort of less prone to masking. Lower mids are like more prone to masking. So adding that layer on top will weight the different bins to duck more or less. And, like you said, it's similar to a sidechain compressor, but sidechain compressor is full band. So it's going to just duck the entire reverb when the dry signal is playing. And what you get with this spectral psychoacoustic unmasking is that we're going to duck certain frequencies depending on what is going to be masking the signal, like in your brain.
Gotcha. And is it a volume automation or is it a compression automation or?
Like both. It's spectral compression, so it's like ducking certain frequency bins and adapting and changing that over time.
Gotcha. Nice. Thanks for that. Anyone, if you have any questions, do at Plugin Boutique with them. We'll try to get Bill to answer them live on the stream. And we will, as usual, be doing some giveaways. And to be entered into those, all you need to do is be active in the chat. Being a positive force and a good way to be active is to ask questions. So, Bill, please continue.
Yeah, totally. So one of the really exciting things about Aurora is that it's built on the exponential audio reverb engines. So some of you may have heard of exponential audio, but if you haven't, it's kind of a legendary company in the reverb space. They have really excellent algorithmic reverbs, and that's a really hard thing to program. So iZotope actually acquired that company a couple years back, and so makes it really nice. We're able to take these exceptional reverb algorithms and sort of put them into a new product that still has a good level of control, but is definitely streamlined and hopefully easy to use and has this extra unmasking. And I would say, what distinguishes really excellent algorithmic reverb from just basic is that really excellent reverb algorithms have this like natural, spacious sound to them that's free from artifacts that can happen with lower quality reverbs, like sounding metallic or having these resonances or like nodes in the space that's being created. So we're fortunate to have some really cool algorithms here. We've been listening to the hall. Maybe I'll just cycle through and we can hear these different algorithms and how they work on this guitar. So somewhat subtle differences, but if you're listening on headphones or good speakers, hopefully you can hear that.
Yeah, nice. We got a
Um,
question, Bill, if you don't mind.
yeah.
It's a good question from Uro Music. Is there a way to change the size of the bins? So add more or less bins? I guess the resolution of the bins.
We considered doing that, but short answer is no. There's not a way to currently do that. It would be an interesting control, but um, no, it's not available.
Cool.
Um, right on. So let's take a little tour of some of the controls. We've got our big knob, big reverb amount knob. This is interesting because it's a little different than maybe what you might expect a big knob on a reverb to be. It's as if it's not a wet dry. So this big knob is as if you have already created an aux send, put your reverb on it at 100% wet, and then you're controlling the gain of that reverb bus. So rather than kind of forcing people to do that, we wanted to make it really easy to just use Aurora as an insert effect. So that's why, as I turn this reverb up, the dry signal doesn't go away. The dry signal stays exactly as it is, and you're just adding reverb in behind it. Let me turn that up and you can hear what I mean. So again, the spirit is to help people get that really nice, spacious, open sound that reverb and delays can provide, because Cascadia works the same way. And so like a really key part of that is typically that busing workflow. And, it's not that hard, but we wanted to make it easier and not require you to sort of set up a bus. That said, if you want to use it on a bus, that's totally easy too. You would, we could just do it real quick. I'd have my guitar dry, create a send it to a bus, have Aurora on the bus instead. And you would just want to use this solo reverb button and just go ahead and turn the reverb up. So now you could control the amount of reverb. That, or like this. Hopefully that makes sense. A little bit different than a normal wet dry, though.
I think it does. If it doesn't, chat, let me know, but I think it's pretty clear what's happening there.
The rest of the controls, pre-delay and decay time, that's pretty typical, reverb controls. Pre-delay is shifting sort of the reverb back, which is another way of kind of getting that clarity, not having it mask the dry signal. Decay is going to control how long the reverb tail lasts. So you could have a really short one or a really long one. Or a really, really long one. And then these width and tone sliders on the bottom are interesting as well. This can be a little bit of a subtle effect, but I think you're going to hear it, especially if you're in headphones. Let's listen to the reverb and notice the difference between like narrow and a narrow tail, and it's going to sound almost like there's a hallway out in front of you, versus the wide is really kind of immersive and sounds like the sound is all around you and on the sides. And it's a bit more sophisticated than just like changing mid and side. It's changing the angle of the reverb. This is something that the developer of Exponential Audio figured out and is really cool. I'm not sure exactly how it works under the hood, but let's take a listen to that.
That's cool. Bill, perhaps?
Yeah, that's cool, right?
Can we maybe do that again, but with like solo reverb, just so we can really hear? But I mean, I could definitely hear the focusing of the narrow band.
Totally. Yeah, let's do it. And one thing to understand about that control is it's just controlling the width of the reverb tail. So there are kind of two sections of the reverb under the hood. There's the early reflections and then the reverb tail. So even when we're completely narrow, the early reflections are still sort of as they are normally, but then the tail is centered. And then if it's wide, it's all wide. And that is kind of a cool control when you're thinking about your mono, like how your mix and master is going to sound in mono. Because you can choose, okay, when it's narrow, you're going to be able to hear a lot of that reverb when you're listening in mono. But then if it's really wide and you listen in mono, you almost won't hear any reverb. So that's just an interesting thing you can consider when you're mixing, if you're concerned with people listening to it on like a Bluetooth speaker or something like that. This wider thing can also make it so that the reverb is not in the mix you hear as much. And then we've got this tone slider as well. So you can control how wide you want the reverb and also whether you want it to have a little bit of a brighter tone or a darker tone. So let's take a listen to that. And so that's like tilting the frequency balance of the reverb. And in addition to that, if you'd like, we have these high cut and low cut filters so that you can focus the signal into whatever frequency area you want.
And that will be just the reverb that gets affected by those.
Totally, yeah. Yep, just the reverb. So we've got these high and low pass filters and the tilt and the algorithms. And so our intention here is like, you want to dial in a really great sounding reverb. You want to do it relatively quickly. Reverbs can have a lot of parameters. And so we wanted to carefully pick and choose those that would most efficiently streamline people to the sound that they're imagining. You know, if you love tweaking all of the knobs on a reverb, like in all honesty, Aurora may not be for you. but there is quite a bit of customizability and flexibility in this. And we hope that the streamlined interface and like, how quick and easy this unmasking is valuable to people. I know I've been finding it valuable, but I'm obviously super biased.
Bill, we have a request from Beninin, I believe that's how you pronounce it. If you could maybe get out of the solo reverb and then let us hear what happens when you really push the unmask, to 100%.
Okay, cool. So it's kind of like taking all of the reverb away. There's a notable interaction between this big unmask slider and this sensitivity. They kind of work hand in hand. I had the sensitivity turned up a little bit. So here it is on normal sensitivity. So this is it. This is it actually maxed out, 100% sensitivity, 100 unmask. So we can hear it kind of starting to release back in during those breaks in the guitar. We could hear that more with a faster release time.
Like a creative effect at that point.
Yeah, that's pretty funny sound. I've never really actually tried it like that. That's cool. Yeah, so this is, I guess I would call this maxed out. I turned the attack and the release all the way down to 0. It's kind of fun. I might actually use that as a creative effect.
Nice. We're gonna, if you could, I know you've already answered. We're doing our best to answer in chat, but a lot of people are asking if you think this should be on channel or on send. If we could just go through that again, and maybe just say what you think, one or the other, or if there are different instruments for different reasons, or what have you.
Yeah, totally. It. As a lot of things in audio, it depends. Depends on your workflow. If you like doing the bus workflow, there's no reason not to put it on a bus. If you're moving quickly and you want to just throw it on a track, or like what I do a lot is Logic lets you do folders of tracks, and then the top of that folder can have effects on it. So that's basically like doing it on a bus, but it is inline. You're not sending it. If you have an older computer and you're worried about CPU cost and you're really trying to conserve CPU, like that would be a reason to put it on a bus. If you're less concerned about CPU, like most modern computers can handle lots of heavy plugins, no problem, then it doesn't really matter. And then instrument by instrument, I don't know. It's like if you want to send multiple instruments all to the same reverb, like that can be a cool technique. I think putting it on a track and letting the unmask only hear that track might yield you a bit more transparent unmasking, because it's just reacting to one instrument rather than trying to react to multiple instruments. Those are my thoughts.
Nice. I appreciate you going to a little bit more depth there. Let's flip over to the next one. I'm excited. The new one.
Yeah, cool. Let me just do one last demo before we flip over.
All right.
And this one, I had to bounce all of this out ahead of time, so I'm just going to flip between these 3 audio tracks, but I wanted to illustrate the difference between having Aurora off on all of these tracks in this song together, having Aurora on with the unmasking as it's intended, where you kind of maintain the clarity of all the dry signals, but have this nice spacious atmosphere. And then Aurora on, but with no unmasking, and you can hear how the reverb really becomes a little bit oppressive in the mix and makes it a little bit hard to hear it. It kind of gets like soupy, you know? All right, here we go. So starting with dry.
Yeah.
Hopefully that came across.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's switch over to Cascadia.
All right, while he's flipping over, everybody, welcome to the stream. If you're coming in late, we're here with Bill Podolak from iZotope, checking out the 2 brand new plugins from them. Oh, Bill, if we're going to flip, we might have to resend the listen to. Is this a new project or? Yeah. Anyway, we are here with Bill Podolak checking out Cascadia, and that was Aurora that we just checked out. If you missed it, this will be archived here on the channel. You can go back and watch whenever you want. We are doing some giveaways today. To be entered in the giveaway, you just have to be active in the chat. A good way to be active is to ask questions. If you have any questions, at Plugin Boutique, and we'll try to get Bill to answer them live on the stream.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just sent you the Audio Movers link.
Cool. 531, yeah, copy. Okay. Boof. Let's give it a test. As your garden growing up, success.
Awesome. Sorry for throwing a curveball there.
It's all right. Hey, that keeps me on my toes.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so Cascadia is very similar in that Aurora is a reverb with adaptive unmasking. Cascadia is a tape delay with adaptive unmasking. And just like Aurora, Cascadia has this big knob that mixes the delay in, just like you're turning up the gain on a delay bus. Also has the solo delay if you want to use it on a bus. And it's got a really nice, spacious musical sound. It's a pretty authentic tape delay DSP with this modulation, and it sounds really nice and clean. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this vocal, and I'll start mixing in some echoes to give it some spaciousness.
As your garden growing up now, honey, did the flowers bloom like they always do? You know, I find it funny, all the seeds you sow, but you can't outgrow me.
And let's bring in a little bit of the unmasking.
As your garden growing up now, honey, did the flowers bloom like they always do?
Highlighting the difference with unmasking off, and I hear how the delay is kind of clashing, not really clashing, but like conflicting with the main signal, and you can really hear it. And then when the unmask is on, you get this extra sense of spaciousness, but it's almost like felt, not heard explicitly.
As your garden growing up, honey, did the flowers bloom like they always do? You know,
delay sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's really nice sounding.
I mean, yeah. We got a question coming in from Cherry Sound. Does this have a ping pong? I can see a ping pong paddle there, so perhaps that's just you engage, huh?
Yeah, we got a cheeky little ping pong button right here. So let's take a listen to some different things, because I have a ping pong setup for these congas and shakers. So here we go. So we got this shaker doing a triplet, and these congas. And let's mute the shaker. So not only does Cascadia have a ping pong mode, you can control the width of the ping pong, going from no ping pong at 0% to 100%, or take it and like push it crazy wide. So it's pretty neat. You can control like, okay, it's hitting right in the middle. Do I want it ping-ponging here in the stereo field, or here, or like that? So ping pong plus even a width control for the ping pong. And that width control also affects the non-ping pong mode. You've got a scroller here for your different tempo synced beat divisions, and you can have this synced to the host tempo or just in milliseconds.
What sort of algorithm does it have if you change the rate while it's playing?
These rates down here, like the delay time
rate, yeah.
Yeah, it's got the funny tape delay one that goes like pew pew,
nice.
and does that.
That's the only way it should be, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's how it's got to be for sure.
100%. Yeah.
That's how you know it's authentic tape delay. It's pew.
Pew. That's good.
So percussion there, we covered the ping pong, big amount knob. Let's check out the bass. I've got this kind of cool preset on the bass where you can use Cascadia to create chorusing effects. So on this bass, we'll start bypassed. And now bring in this chorusing effect. Oh, I see it. It's a 0, so I gotta do this.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
Yeah, and you made use of those filters at the bottom to really focus in where that would happen on top of the unmask feature. So, yeah, I mean, it's a really cool effect. Yeah.
And we've got the modulation going. So this is like a pitch modulation. This is what really happens with tape delays, because if the tape is moving slightly slower or slightly faster, you'll get fluctuations in the timing of the echoes and also in their pitch. So on this one, I've just cranked the modulation depth all the way up, and that's giving us kind of that chorusing effect. Let's see if we can hear it if I pull this all the way down. definitely subtle though.
Yeah, but that's what it's all about,
Um,
isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it's not
yeah,
it's not meant to be literally wub wub wub. It's
right. We'd probably get more. It'd sound crazier with higher rates. Let's hear. Yeah. Now you hear it.
it's
Whoa, whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
but
whoa,
it
whoa,
sounds
whoa, whoa.
great. It sounds really
Yeah, it's
nice.
cool.
Dang.
Yeah, there's a bunch of presets that we made. So this might be in kind of the creative world, but there's also some classic ones. It's probably close to the classic chorus width. You want to hear a really crazy creative effect?
No, I don't. Nope. Don't do it.
Nope,
Don't
nobody likes
do it.
that. So this resonator, or sorry, you can use Cascadia, or you can do this with other delays too, but with really high feedback and short delay times, you can almost think of it like the wood body of like a guitar or a cello. There's echoes happening in that really quickly, and it creates this like resonant cavity that gives the guitar or the cello or whatever its tone. And you can do that artificially with delays. So I'm taking this bass synthesizer and creating like a resonator with it. Check out the difference that this makes. We'll start with it bypassed. Now on. Do you believe that's even the same sound? It's just like if you time this delay time right, it'll bring out all of these harmonic resonances, and you can like basically tune the size of the cavity by changing this. So let me change this around and you'll hear like how crazy it sounds as we're changing it. And for whatever reason at like 13.7, it just sings.
That's cool. Is that automatable? That time parameter in the DAW?
Yeah, totally.
Nice.
Right? So you could do that as kind of a creative effect, like automate this around. It needs, high feedback, but short delay times. And then I also made an example with this piano where I just need to do that. We've got a pretty cool piano sound, but just wanted to give it more of like a retro lo-fi kind of feel. So made another chorusing type preset with Cascadia. It's a cool piano. It's like a little bland. And now I'll turn the bypass off. So a bit of modulation, and this is accentuating the width. Even though we're not in ping pong mode, we can take a stereo signal and make the delays sound like they're going out wider. Then unmask is cutting out some muddiness in like 200 to 1K. This lead guitar one I thought was also really beautiful. And what this one kind of highlighted to me was how this is something I've been struck by. Like, I I'm a music producer and I mix and master my own stuff, and I feel like delay is a little bit slept on. Like, I wouldn't really reach for delay very often, but now that we made one and I'm more familiar with it, delay can play this really useful role in like having something feel like it's in the mix and not sitting on top of the mix, and have it feel like it's kind of glued in, even though you're just adding these echoes. And I thought this lead guitar was like a pretty good example of that, because when it's off, it sounds like a dry lead guitar sitting on top of a nice mix. And then when it's on, let's see if you all feel the same way. It just feels more glued in and like it's part of the mix. One more time, a little faster switch.
Yeah. I mean, it's much better with the effect for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
It's also interesting. I feel like, I don't know, because of the way you're adding the delay, not adjusting the mix of the dry and the wet. Like, my instinct would be you need to turn down the guitar, but that's just me, I guess, thinking in an old school sort of way. But I think it sits really nice when you add more sound to it, which is kind of crazy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think it's sort of a simple thing. I'm sure other plugins do this, but I don't really know of any. It's just so much easier to put the delay on, it's like I want delay on this guitar. Put the delay on it, turn it up. Like, the guitar was already mixed at a good level. I don't want to adjust the overall level of the guitar. I just want to add delays in. Or with Aurora, I just want to add reverb in. So that's what we did.
Yeah, I think I've seen plugins that have control for the dry and the wet separately, but I don't think I've ever seen one where you just add wet, kind of like like an internal return track in the plugin.
Right. So
Bill, just one question. Did you mention that if there were more Catalyst plugins coming?
I don't know. You'll just have to wait and find out.
Oh, okay, I thought maybe you had said that at one point. Okay. There are 3 currently, right?
That is right.
Nice.
Yeah, totally. One pretty unique feature that Cascadia has that, again, I'm not aware of any other delays that have this. There probably are, but I'm not aware of any, is a reverse mode. So this takes the echoes that would otherwise be coming off the delay in the normal order and flips them so that the delays kind of sweep in backwards. And this can be a pretty cool effect. Let me see, I might be automating this. No, I guess I'm not. So on this lead vocal, I have a full, 1 bar delay, because we've got this vocal phrase and then a gap and then the vocal phrase and then a gap. So I wanted to fill in that gap, and kind of a neat way that we can do that is with the reverse delay mode. And that gives it kind of a fun psychedelic spin. Let's take a listen. We'll play it once in the normal direction, and then the second bar, I'll turn on this reverb or reverse mode, and we can hear it. Still going a little bit.
Yeah.
So kind of fun little reverse mode there. And subtle UI detail. It takes those Cascadia ripples and reverses them. Let's take a listen. And on the Aurora one, this is what I did at the end where I had bounced them all out, but I haven't bounced these all out, so you're gonna have to stick with me as I try and do a fast switch and like turn all of these Cascadias off and on. But it's not that hard. So let's see, we got the first one, and I'll just play this and we can hear kind of the extra spaciousness and sort of the rhythmic interest and the texture that we're getting from Cascadia. Again, like Aurora, all while maintaining the clarity and making sure everything in the mix keeps its place and doesn't get washed out by the reverb. Okay, so starting off, this should be everything dry, I think. Song credit, this is Hallelujah, parentheses, Moving Through Ya by Marissa Finley.
Nice. She's got a great voice.
Yeah, I like this song. It was a good one to demo this because I particularly like the swung kind of triplet feel. Like one of the things I did that I haven't shown yet is on the kick and snare here, just added quarter note triplets on both of these, and get that off. With delay, what I'm doing here is adding like ghost notes to it to have it be a little bit more in the pocket. So we have our kick and snare all. That's on. That's off. Back on. And if I unsolo these and we listen to the whole thing, just notice how like that adds this extra groove. The kick and snare there.
Yeah, that's cool. It does really fill it out.
Yeah. Nice. So should we give some of these things away?
I think we should. Nice. Well, the way we do it, Bill, is we give people a little bit of, one last opportunity to enter. And obviously to enter, you have to be active in the chat. And I've been asking people about their first 5 installs. You've already done that, so I'm not quite sure what we should do to stall for time to give people their last opportunity to enter into the giveaway. You got any news you want to leak coming up? Or
we got a big, Black Friday Cyber Season sale going on right now.
On pluginboutique.com?
On pluginboutique.com.
Love it.
I think it's the best price we've ever had. Excuse me. On Ozone 11, standard and advanced. I managed Ozone 11 as well. It's pretty sick mastering plugin, and you can catch it for 60% off right now, which is the best price it's ever been, and probably the best price it will be for quite a while, if I had to guess.
Bill, let me ask you. Obviously, I think Neutron was one of the first iZotope plugins to have the masking feature built in, right? Am I right in that?
Yeah, so Neutron has this really interesting workflow where you can see 2 spectrums in the EQ on top of each other, and then you can link the neutrons so that you can, for example, boost frequencies in one while cutting the other and sort of seeing the areas where they're clashing. It was kind of the precursor to the unmasked technology that I was showing off in Aurora and Cascadia, because the unmask processor basically just does it for you. Like, you don't have to do that setup. You don't have to do 2 separate EQs. It's just listening to both through the sidechain and spectrally ducking one of them. And that unmask module first showed up in Neutron 4 as a module by itself. And so we've taken that technology and incorporated into a reverb and a delay.
Nice. Okay. Well, I've got the absolute pleasure to give away 3 copies of each of these 2 effects to the wonderful community here on the stream today. As usual, Connor's been collecting names, and he's given me 12 names because we got 6 giveaways, so I need you to pick your favorite 6 numbers between 1 and 12.
All right. Let's start with 10.
Okay.
5. And 1.
Hold on. Slow down. Slow down. Okay.
7. 4. And 11.
Okay. I've got 6 names here. First 3 will get the Aurora plugin, and the second 3 will get the Cascadia plugin. If your name is called, 1, congratulations, happy holidays. And 2, email support@pluginboutique.com with your name, what you want, and a screenshot of you logged into your account here on YouTube, and they will get you sorted as soon as humanly possible. Do be patient. It is the busiest time of the year. So, the winners of Aurora, courtesy of iZotope and our friend Bill, are EXK128, Josh Sahatoo, Sahatoo, and Rebel Soul Tech. Nice. That's right. You win Aurora. Let me make a note of that before I mess things up. And the winners of the Cascadia plugin that just came out. When did that come out, Bill? Was it like last week, 2 weeks ago?
I think it was last week.
Nah.
Yeah, brand new.
Fresh off the press are Benenen, Benen, Larry Boy, and Suffist, Suffist. Congratulations. Again, if your name was called, email support@pluginboutique.com with your name, what you won, and a screenshot if you logged into your account here on YouTube, and they will get you sorted as soon as humanly possible. Shout out to Rafe and the entire CX team. Shout out to Connor for helping. Shout out to you, Bill, for coming back for round number 5. Let's see if we can get it up to 10 next year, and next year alone, you know what I mean? And shout out to the chat, everybody involved here in the community. Nothing but love for you. We got one more stream this year. I think it's coming up in 2 weeks, and then we will come back for a fresh 2025, but it should be a good one. And yeah, I'm Joshua Casper. Shout out to Connor for the help if I didn't mention that. And Bill, any final thoughts?
Just really appreciate everybody for tuning in and watching. I hope the winners enjoy Aurora and Cascadia, and everybody has a great holiday season and end to 2024.
Oh, awesome. All right, everybody. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Ragamuffin keeps striving in every way. International, what they call we international. When me ride palm rhythm and I move, but the rhythm and I come down crucial. And me ride palm rhythm and then we sit down steady. 40 men on the place, I with the one Jamalski. We are the general. We sit up on the rhythm and open the mic incredible. I'm be right palm rhythm and I move, but the rhythm I sit down steady. Every ragamuffin you do, I feel rock and follow me. You know you love her for your life. Jump up on the rhythm, make we riding.